to the Walk-Ons. I'm joined by your Spinnaker 2020 Hall of Fame inductee. Here, John Watson, the current Spinnaker sports editor, professional bowler, and Jaguars insider. And our guest today is from News West 9. He has the most dripping Texas news, Mr. Cory Mose. How you doing, Cory?
Sensational, man. Sensational. I'm glad y'all having a wonderful morning. You just brightened up my day, man, by saying that. I'm so honored, man. Thank you so much.
That's the goal, Cory. Our guest comfortable, ready for his fun conversation. So you are a sports anchor at News West 9 in Texas. What was your path like to get there from high school to now?
Oh man, yeah, it all started in high school. And so my senior year, we had I went to a 6A high school in Texas, down in Houston, and it's named Pearland High School, and we had a kind of like a TV like announcement type thing every Friday. So we had the whole week to kind of build this show. It's like a 15-minute show, and we basically displayed what's going on for next week. We did recaps of what went on that week. And for me, I was a sports reporter, ironically, for that. And so I would do highlights of the football game that week, or highlights of the basketball game that happened that week, and preview whatever is happening that Friday night. And so that's kind of where it all started. It wasn't as serious because there's a lot of jokes, and it was high school, so I didn't know what I was doing. But it got my foot in the door to kind of think about what I wanted to do for my life. And then I went to UT Arlington. The program there is okay. It's not great. None of my professors were in sports. They've never were in the business when it came to TV, sports. A lot of them were in like newspapers. And so they really couldn't help me that much when it came to my growth. But I watched a lot of people. That's how I grew. I watched a lot of people in the business. I watched my friends that may have went to like Arizona State or Syracuse, the noteworthy colleges, and see what they were learning so I can pick it up myself. And then ironically, one day, let me take you back. I received an award for one of the stories I did, one of the feature stories I did over one of the baseball players that's actually one of my best friends for UTA. And our news director at News West 9 also graduated from UTA. And so she actually came that next week after I won the award to recruit. And basically my professor was just like, hey, we have somebody that just got an award. Like you should take a look. So they played the video in class and she liked it. And she told me to call her whenever I graduate. And that was my first semester of senior year. So I still had a whole nother semester to go before I graduated. And when it got time for me to start looking for jobs, I kind of waited to call her up because I wanted to see, what I can get. And so time went on and I got nothing. So I applied to like 15 different 15 different stations. Couple called back. Ironically, I got to the final stages of our competition out here in Odessa. And so I was interviewing with Odessa and I was interviewing with News West 9. And it's in the same market. And so News West 9 decided to pick me up and not the other station. And that's how I ended up here. Luck of the draw that my news director came to class that one day and saw my work in person, because if she didn't, who knows if I would even got the job.
So when you were writing for that one award, what was it for? Was it for like a publication on campus, or was it for like a class?
Yeah, it was for a class. So to be a part of the news station at UT Arlington, you had to be a part of that class. Now, if you weren't in that class, like if you took 2 semesters and then your days of that class is over, then you can't be a part of the news station. That's why I say that the program kind of like, well, this sucks because I can only be in the class for two semesters, and that's the only time I can build my reel. You have 2 semesters. Then the first semester they kind of branched off to you're learning the production side of things. So you don't really get to be on air because you're learning directing and producing and all that. Your second semester is when you can be an anchor. And so you literally only have like a semester to build your reel. And, at that time, just like, bro, that's not enough time. Like, because if I'm doing it during basketball season, then I won't have any baseball footage. I won't have any football footage. So it was kind of tough building my reel, but, I got the job done. But yeah, it was for the class.
So, covering high school sports in Texas, how big is the environment there? Is it like a larger than life kind of thing? Like, how big is the college football in Texas?
Oh man. Well, I grew up in Texas. So I know, man, I've seen some crazy things. I've seen some crazy stadiums. I mean, high school football is the heartbeat of a lot of these small towns. Now for me in Houston, I went to a 6A school, so I mean, playoffs was a must. You have to make the playoffs. You're expected to make the playoffs, and everyone comes out to the stadiums to watch the games, stuff like that. But if you bring it to Midland, Odessa specifically, I mean, I don't know if y'all seen, Friday Night Lights, the movie. It's real. I mean, it is real stuff, man. The permanent quarterback, there's times where he can walk around, go to McDonald's, go to Whataburger, and someone asks him, "Are you ready for tonight?" Or "Great game last week, man. You played a great game." These people know these players like they're NFL athletes, and it's crazy to see how if a school is doing great, this town is doing great. Everyone's happy. Everyone's like, "Oh, how you doing? Good morning." You know what I'm saying? Just because the school is doing good in the playoffs or the school is doing good for the season. And like for Texas football, a lot of these games are these kids' lives. And so I know I talked to one kid actually a couple weeks ago for Permian. They won district. They clinched to share the district title. And one of the things that he said was, "Man, I'll never forget this. I can't wait to tell my kids about this." You know what I'm saying? Like that's like a high school district championship is something that he's going to cherish forever to tell his kids about. That's what it means to be in Texas high school football. And, some may say it's too much for a 17-year-old, but some may say it's a great experience for a 17-year-old. So it just depends the way you look on it. And for me growing up here, I think it's a great experience for them to put their life into this game and then maybe make it to Jerry World and go to Cowboy Stadium and play on that field. That's something they'll never forget.
So I'm guessing that a lot of these are, upcoming D1 athletes, who are gonna have offers and commitments. I might be wrong, but has there been like any like star players that you've seen that are, upcoming into the D1 atmosphere that you would
Uh,
know you're notable?
since in Middle Odessa or like in my life?
In the last, I'd say 2-3 years.
Okay, in the last 2-3 years.
Hmm.
Yeah, there's been a couple of dudes that are now getting shots.
Hmm.
Because 2-3 years you still got a red shirt, that red shirt
Yeah.
year. And so this kid named Christian Schauner, he plays safety at University of Texas, and so he actually played at Permian. There's a couple kids from Midland Lee that also just graduated. There's one that just graduated last year. His name is Loic Fungi. Uh, do not forget that name, Loic Fungi. He's a wide receiver. He committed to Texas Tech. 6'3", has a solid build. Very, very smart on the field. He was Midland Lee's. He broke the record for most reception yards in a season. And so don't forget that name. I'm telling you, Loic Fungi. And so these are kind of players that are like standouts in West Texas. Now, I would say West Texas has kind of take that hit since Friday Night Lights. You know what I'm saying? They were the region in Texas, but now you're starting to see with all the money and the technology that Dallas and Houston has, those athletes are the ones kind of taking over. And once West Texas hits those schools in playoffs, you can just see the difference. I mean, Dallas and Houston kids are just bigger, faster, and stronger. I mean, it's as simple as that. They have personal trainers, they have personal chefs. Their programs are a lot just more in depth compared to schools out here. So we haven't seen a lot of great D1 athletes come out of here these past couple of years, but there still are some. So I'm not gonna knock that at all.
Be on the lookout. Be on the lookout.
Yes.
Yeah, I've been covering South Florida high school football this semester. It's so different because it's not as big as Texas, but it's got a really big following because guys like Lamar Jackson came from South Florida, Devin Hester, Fred Taylor.
Yeah.
How has COVID affected your coverage? Because for me, journalists can walk on the sidelines, but they have to wear masks and kind of keep it distance. But like, what's it like in Texas though? Is it kind of like the same, or is it more like distance for you guys?
Well, It's been tough. It definitely has been tough. We've had a couple of changes at the beginning of this whole COVID thing. Like we couldn't even go to events. Like we had to do everything through Zoom. So we couldn't, if there was like a game going on, we couldn't go cover it. You know, like if someone was signing, you know, we couldn't go to the signing. We had to Zoom call him and talk about why'd you sign there. So everything was virtual. Now we're able to get out and go to the football games, covering one tonight. And the biggest difference though is when it comes to interviews with coaches after the game, pre-game, you know, we have to stand 6 feet, or we both have to wear masks. Um, and now we're kind of reaching that stage where Milan Odessa has kind of had a bit of a spike lately, and so our bosses are wanting us to not only just wear masks, but also have one of those long stick mics that you see, so we can stay 6 feet when interviewing them. So that's the next step for us. And so it makes it weird. You know what I'm saying? To me, it's just not as like personable, you know, as if I have a mic to his face, you know, or, you know, I may shake his hand before the interview. I can't do that, you know? And so that's the hardest part, I feel like, is to make that relationship. 'Cause that's all what interviewing is. You have to build that relationship with that person like y'all are doing right now to trust me and trust you to answer things openly and not feel guarded or protected. And so with a lot of coaches, they feel that way, and it's our job to break that barrier down. But when we're 6 feet away with masks on, it's kind of hard to break that barrier down. And so that's the biggest challenge I'm looking at right now is when it comes to these coaches interviews and having these precautions to make them still be able to feel comfortable when I'm interviewing them.
So in the time since you graduated college, I'm sure you've put out plenty of stories about feature stories, games, COVID-19.
Hmm.
What has been like one of the most interesting and intriguing stories that you've done?
Man, that's a great question. I think the one story I'm proud of was probably the story I did about when football season started. So it was a good 2 months ago. So it's kind of recent. This dude named Gary Speed. He was a well-known referee out here. I mean, he's been reffing for about 30 years around West Texas, and West Texas is a small community, so you'll know who Gary Speed is if you lived out here. He recently got diagnosed with this terminal brain disease. It's not cancer; it's more rare than cancer, and so only I believe 500 people in the country get it a year. And so with this terminal brain disease, it's a gradual thing. Now, once you get diagnosed with it, some people die within weeks. Some people die within a week, or some people it's a long, drawn out thing. This disease they don't have enough research on because hospitals don't want to use that money for research for something that's that rare. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not a lot of people that get affected by it in the world compared to cancer. So we're not going to put research money towards it. And so no one really knows how this fluctuates between person to person. We just know they're going to die sooner or later. And so when I met him, he was at that stage in the disease where he was losing kind of speech. Eventually, he'll lose his sense of touch. He'll lose his sense to swallow. Food and stuff like that. And so he's going to eventually, that would cause him to die. But because of this, and because of his stature out in West Texas, people started hearing about, this bad circumstance. And his friends and families and people from around the area wanted to complete his bucket list. And so basically, they would send him and his wife to crazy places like Vegas and Cancun and over in uh, what's the city over there? Oh my guys, I'm going blank right now.
Is it
But
USA or is it out of the
no,
country?
it's overseas. What is it?
Paris?
Oh, Dubai. Dubai. Went to Dubai. And so like people are sending him and his wife all over the place. You know what I'm saying? He's going to Cowboys games, Texas games. So he's getting able to fulfill his bucket list. Now the last stop on his bucket list was at a Permian high school game because they were going to honor him for the first game of the season at halftime. And so when they honored him for the big celebration, the mayor came out and actually dedicated that day in his name. So now that day is actually Gary Speed Day in Midland, Odessa. And coincidentally, it's also his birthday. And so it just kind of worked out, that way. And so being able to not share a real sports story, but he's in sports, but it's not a sports story. You know what I'm saying? Those are the stories that I really love to share. And for someone to now have that video, his family to have that video of me telling their story, has really it really honors me. Ironically, might just speak about it. I got his mask right here. It says Speedo Strong. That's what they called him. They called him Speedo. And so yeah, man, I just felt so honored to give them something that whenever he does die, they can look back and say, man, what a great man this was, and that's what I truly love to see.
And then you cover sports. I follow you on Twitter. Your Spinnaker have the best fits when you cover games. Fucking like turtlenecks.
Yeah,
Now,
thanks.
John and I were trying to up our fit game. Give us some tips on how to stand out. Reporting. Some tricks to look better when covering these awesome sports.
For sure. I got you, man. This is my alley, man. I love outfits. I love style. I love clothes. For me, my biggest thing is don't be afraid to wear some colors. Like I'm a big. It's funny how my partner and I work together. So he's more of the neutral color guy. When it comes to suits, but he'll wear the colors on his shirt or his tie. And so the way we kind of work together is that whatever color he's wearing on his tie or his shirt, I usually have that color in a suit. So like it's kind of like flip, and for me, I would always say for people to want to stand out or work on their style is that have a couple suits in there that may not be the typical black gray combo. Have maybe a red suit or an olive green suit. Now I'm a big fan of like neutral colors, for suits. Like I have a tan suit. I have like I said, an olive green suit, a little dark navy suit. Because those colors don't really like crazy pop, but it's still colors, and so that's my biggest thing is being able to show some color on TV because black and gray gets worn out, what I'm saying, over time. And also, like you mentioned, the turtleneck. Ties are overrated in my eyes. I feel like ties, you don't need a tie all the. It's sports specifically. We're just talking about sports. To be a sports anchor, you want to be relaxed. You want to be fun, and so when you're all buttoned up all the time, I feel like that kind of takes away. I still rock ties. I'm not gonna say ties are bad. I still rock ties, but I also rock bow ties too. So that's another story. But to have that diversity, that he can wear a tie, he can wear a bow tie, he can wear a turtleneck, he can wear I have a shirt that has no collar. You know what I'm saying? And so stuff like that is just being able to diversify your closet so that people can't guess what you're gonna wear on air, and they're kind of looking forward to, oh wow, I can't wait to see what he wears tonight. So
what about the 03 LeBron James draft suit? Would you rock that?
Oh my God, bro. I seen that picture the other day and I was like, bro, he was really rocking this.
Yeah.
Like, this is so crazy. Now I saw a picture of Tim Duncan. I'm like, he still wears this to this day. So I mean, I guess that's just his style. But yeah, LeBron and Vince Carter and even Kobe. I was like, man, come on, Kobe. Like,
It's like a 6XL.
Yes, I know. I'm like who made this okay? Like, I want to know who made this okay for style nowadays, man. That's just what I do not agree with that. I am on the other side. If the bigger the clothes, the worse the style is. I don't like it at all.
So we kind of got into professional sports with Kobe and LeBron, but like what professional sports do you kind of follow, and what kind of teams are you fans of? Are you a fan of the Cowboys? Are you a fan of the Oklahoma City Thunder? I don't even know what's up there.
Yeah, I'm a Laker fan. Laker Nation, baby.
Laker. Wow.
Yeah, I grew up loving Kobe. When I was in high school, I wrote an essay about why Kobe's better than LeBron. So nowadays, I will say I grew up. All right, I'm not a Laker like fanatic. I'm not going to say Kobe still was better than LeBron. LeBron has taken that step to become the greatest of all time, in my opinion. We can talk about that, another day. But him or MJ, I got LeBron all day, and so I respect LeBron. So I'm not going to say I hate him. But yeah, I'm a Laker fan. I'm also a Texans fan. H-Town, you know what I'm saying? Houston, throw it up. We suck, but it's okay. You know what I'm saying? It is okay. We don't really have that great of a future. We don't have 2 draft picks. We don't have the first or second draft pick. We have no cap space, but we have Deshaun. That's all that matters. We have Deshaun Watson. So that's good. Astros fan as well, being from Houston. Now, I am a Stars fan. I love the Dallas Stars. I've been to a couple games when I was in school in Arlington. Hockey is a sport that I didn't think I would enjoy that much, but going to the games, it's an experience. It's probably the best experience I've had to any professional sport. I mean, hockey, their fans are crazy, especially for NHL. Like, man, that atmosphere is something else. And so those are probably the main people or teams I follow. Now, favorite player in football, Odell Beckham. Love Odell. His swagger, the way he carries himself. I mean, that's just feels like myself, you know what I'm saying? I just love it. I love it. But yeah, I'm trying to think of anything any other thing that I really love. Not really. Soccer, I'm a big Ronaldo guy. But then also I don't know if y'all play FIFA, but my team in FIFA is Tottenham. I love Tottenham. So I think that's all the major sports if I can think about it. Yeah. So
It's actually a smart rule because I was born in Georgia, and my dad coached middle school baseball. I was probably 2 years old. His catcher was Kareem Jackson. It was a safety for the
Kareem
quarterback. Yes,
Jackson.
he was
Oh
catcher
my
in middle
God.
school
First
baseball.
round pick.
So
Yes, Alabama.
yeah, he was his first recruit actually. But I talked to Kareem when I was 3 years old when he played baseball. I haven't seen him in 16 years. So with UNF, we're by Jack Stadium. The Jags play the Texans. I got to interview the Texans. Here comes Kareem. I'm like, you were shorter back then, man. I was like, taller now.
He remembered you. That's so
Yeah.
great. That is so awesome. Man, I'm not gonna lie to you. I really liked Kareem. I really did. At that time, we had Kareem and Jonathan Joseph on at corners. And I really did not like Jonathan, man. I thought Jonathan, we paid him way too much money. And he was slow. He was old, man. But Kareem could tackle. That's what I liked about Kareem. He wasn't as good of a cover guy, but he can come up and lay a hit on you as a corner. And that's just, that's a Bama mentality. But I was a big fan of Kareem, and then he left for, I think he went to the Ravens or Denver after us.
He's on Denver now.
Yeah, he's on Denver now, and so we need him now. I mean, our corners we're starting Vernon Hargraves. I'm just like, why is Vernon Hargraves have a starting position in the NFL? But I mean, like I said, we suck, so I'm not gonna talk about this season. But yeah, that's cool. That's really cool.
41 points last night, though. What?
It's the Lions, dude.
It's the
Lions. It's the Lions, man.
Man.
They are horrible. I didn't know they were that bad, but they are. They can't. I mean, our defense is one of the worst defenses in the league, and they only put up 24, I think.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, technically only put up 17. They put up that other touchdown in garbage time. And I started like Kerryon Johnson, Marvin Jones Jr. because we were playing them. Like, that's how bad I think our defense is. But they actually didn't score. Like, I guess the Lions are just worse in offense. Like, it's really crazy.
And also that dude Johnson flea flicker, they sold the whole entire play. It was like right there, and I'm chucking it before 20 yards open.
It didn't even look like that was a play. Like, it looked like Duke just like, oh, this is blown up. Let me just turn around and throw this away. It really what it looked like. It didn't look planned. So I hope it was planned. But man, yeah, that play was something else. It looked like a real Thanksgiving backyard football play. Like, let's just draw up some bull crap and run it, see if it works. And it did. The Lions are just that bad. So
I think my last question. Oh, sorry to interrupt, Drew. I think my last question is, what does the future hold for Cory Mose?
Oh man. Well, I got another year left in my contract. So we'll see from then. Just trying to start figuring out my next move. The thing about the company I'm a part of, though, Tegna, I work for Tegna. You can move up and break your contract if you stay within Tegna. So I've had talks with a couple, news directors about where I would go next within Techna, and so I may stay the whole time, I may not. But I'm a big religious guy, so whatever God leads me, that's where I'm headed. I pray about every decision I make. So hopefully, not hopefully, I know He'll put me in the right spot. It just depends on what that spot is, and so got about a year left though. So I'm still sticking around Millen, Odessa. I still got some time to build some roots here, and I'm enjoying it, man. This community's great. It's a small community, but actually, let me rephrase that. This is low-key a big community, but it has a small community vibe to it. I mean, we have 4 6A schools out here. So, I mean, that just shows how it's not small at all. But everyone knows everyone. Everyone grew up together. They all went to Permian or Midland Lee or Midland High or Odessa High. And it's really crazy how everyone kind of connected. But it's still a big, wide area. So I want to continue to build my roots here and continue to be a part of this community. And I'm excited for what the future holds.
No, John and I, we covered all of even at basketball. They're a mid-major school in Jacksonville. They're known for like 3-pointers. They led the league nation 3-pointers the past 2 years, but they played teams like Jacksonville University. But Jacksonville is the best music choice at their games, like because a lot of the East End schools are kind of like top 40, like very clean, like cookie cutter songs.
Okay.
Jacksonville, it's like they're playing motorsport. They They have a swag surfing thing that is so pathetic. It's like a half like sway. It's
Oh,
I sent that video to David like twice and he was like garbage like by times 10 for that.
oh my gosh. Just disrespectful to the song. You got
It's
it. Once the song plays, you gotta get crazy, man. You gotta get lit.
They have like a middle school gym, so it's like really small too. So it's kind of rough and it's called the splash zones or student section. It's pretty rough. It's like lower tier.
Oh my gosh.
But I want to end this with a draft for all three of us. What
Okay.
is Thanksgiving passed recently? Can you give me 2 sides and 1 dessert you would choose for your play Thanksgiving? 2 sides and 1 dessert.
2 sides, 1 dessert. All right, cool. 2 sides, 1 dessert. I gotta go with oh man, this is gonna be tough, dude. Yams. Yams is I love yams. Sweet yams. Um and then the other side would have to be my mom's mac and cheese. I mean, just my mom's though. Not any mac and cheese. Just my mom's mac and cheese. And the dessert, I'm a big pecan pie, baby. I love pecan pie or pecan, how you want to say it. But yeah, pecan pie is something I could tear a whole pie down by myself.
All right, for your boy. Oh, you can go if you want.
I was introducing you, man.
Cool beans. So I actually drove from Tampa this morning, about 3.5-hour drive. But my mom sent me some Thanksgiving meal from yesterday, leftovers with me, and I have some sides that are my favorites. So I got, of course,
He has it with them.
I got it with me. Yeah, I just pulled it off the freaking. But I got of course the cranberry sauce.
Okay, yeah, respect.
Canned, of course, ocean spray. And then I'd say for my other one, you got to go with the stuffing. It's right there.
Yeah,
right there.
yeah.
There you go.
See, that's
Gotta
up
go
there,
with
bro.
stuffing.
I was really thinking about, I was like, dang, stuffing or the mac and cheese. But
Dude,
I can't disrespect my mom. You know what I'm saying?
Trader Joe's stuffing, it's underrated if you live in a huge town.
Okay.
But for dessert, I'm gonna have to go with pecan pie. Yeah, had it yesterday. Costco, gotta love it.
No, I like you, John. I know I like you. Oh man. Hey, quick side note before I guess before we close it out, the McLovin freaking poster, dog.
I love it, Mike.
I love it, bro.
I love it.
What a movie.
Chicken, yeah, I think so.
22-year-old wine organ donor. Gotta love it.
Gotta love it.
Gotta love it.
He's like, one name, what do you seal?
Oh man, I'm watching that now. That's how I'm gonna start my day. I'm gonna go watch that right now.
So what you got for sides, Drew?
My plate. So when I see my grandparents in South Georgia, it's the best because they make the best food. But I get a green bean casserole with the on top of it. It's really good. I get a corn casserole what I make myself. It's like cornmeal, some butter, some sour cream on it. It's phenomenal. but the dessert is the grand finale. It's my grandma's red velvet cake. Oh my goodness, boys.
Oh, I know
Cream
grandma.
cheese in the
I
middle,
know
it's right
grandma
there.
going crazy.
Oof. Put you in a coma for 3 hours.
Oh man, I love red velvet. I am a fan. Okay, so have y'all heard about how red velvet is actually just chocolate, but it's just
No.
dyed?
It's just
Yeah, yeah. So that's like a theory going on about how
Yeah.
red velvet is just chocolate cake, just dyed red. I think it's bullcrap. I think it tastes different to me. That's all I know. It just tastes different. So I mean, but that is a rumor floating around. We need to get fact checks.
We should throw that one away, actually. Like rumor.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Forget that, man. I
Wow.
don't believe any of that nonsense.
This is a facts-only show, guys.
so.
But Cory, man, thanks again for I'm glad we talked to you about your road to use West 9, your love for Red Velvet, your theories, your Lakers fandom, your Caruso fandom. You know, it's always good.
Man, AC baby, yes, Caruso. That's my dog, man. I mess with. It's funny you say that because actually one of my best friends was the manager for the A&M when he was there, and he's tight with Caruso. So talking to him, he's like, yeah, Caruso's really a funny guy. If you really get to meet him, he's really a funny dude. So I hope one day I get to meet Caruso, man. But yeah, I love AC.
Dude, so last April, I flew from Jacksonville to LA to see LeBron play for the Lakers. I get there. That's when he was shut down.
I about to say, did he play? I bet he said he did play.
Yeah, so I go like a dummy to the game where they're playing the Clippers, and who plays in that game? Alex Caruso drops 30 points on the Clippers, and I'm like, this is the man we're gonna watch for 10 years now.
For years from now.
Yeah.
The Caruso, baby. The Caruso. Yeah.
My boy KCP though.
Yeah.
I know.
My boy KCP.
Yeah, he got that ankle monitor off and started going crazy. You love to see it. You really love to see it, man. And we signed him back. He's back, baby. Laker Nation. Run it back.
We got him.
All right, Cory. Thanks again for your time, man. Got to talk to you, and hopefully we can talk in the future.
For sure, man. Anytime. You got my number, right? Or I'll send you my number and text you my number, in case you don't. And hey, this is great, man. This is great. I love it.
Target.
All right. Adios.
Good talk.
See you later.